The Nissan Leaf gets a great deal. Right, its scope of 149 m or 215 mi, relying upon the model, is adequate for most EV customers. It's additionally peaceful and has some helpful innovation, includes that can make driving in weighty rush hour gridlock simpler and less tiring. So we should check out at 10 things you need to be aware prior to purchasing the 2024 Nissan Leaf. One of the greatest draws of the Nissan Leaf is its outside plan, which consolidates aerodynamic elements with striking styling prompts to create a look that is, however, practical as it seems to be advanced. The second-era Nissan Leaf was perhaps of the most out-of-control looking vehicle available when it emerged, and it still holds up in 2024. When it was sent off as the first efficiently manufactured EV on the planet in 2010, the Leaf delivered just 107 strength, what's more, 207 lb-feet of force. Things have changed a great deal from that point forward, however, and the base model of the Nissan Leaf has bumped up its pull creation up to 147. In this present reality where insides are overwhelmed by enormous screens that occasionally stretch across the entire width of your dashboard, the Leaf actually has a very customary inside, while this may appeal to some as a much-needed refresher in a period of progressively choking moderation. The inside looks a little obsolete this present time, and maybe it is high opportunity for a invigorate include shrewd. The Leaf still figures out how to stand its ground with the 8.0 in infotainment show, furnished with every one of the fundamental elements like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The Leaf is a section-level vehicle, so hope to see more plastic than extravagance, which is standard at its cost point. The Nissan Leaf isn't a hatchback and not a SUV, so this shouldn't make any difference to a ton of purchasers. Yet the freight space isn't ample. You get 23.6 cubic feet of freight space behind the back seats and 30 cubic feet. When you overlap the back seats down, this might be adequate space for more modest things and individual gear. However, a few of its equals currently offer more space. Another restricting component is the collapsing instrument of the back seats, since they don't crease flush with the heap floor. Something that can influence the vehicle, go space, a ton. The back seats, in all actuality, do have a lot of extra space, however, so your travelers ought to be agreeable enough during street trips. Vehicle charging time relies upon two things: charging velocity and battery size. You definitely realize that the Nissan Leaf has a tiny battery pack looked at to most other electric vehicles on the market at the present time, so it ought to take a ton less opportunity to get it energized, right? Unfortunately, that isn't true. Since the Nissan Leaf accompanies restricted charging speeds, the S variation has a greatest charging pace of around 50 kWh. Furthermore, the SV in addition to has twofold that sum with 100 kW. Both of these vehicles ought to take something like 1 hour to get totally charged up at a public DC quick charging station. The driving scope of an EV is its generally significant trademark, since it can decide whether it is usable. Furthermore, pragmatic in reality, the base variation of the Nissan Leaf offers a scope of around 149 m, as indicated by the EPA, and, surprisingly, though certain individuals can make it work, it is nowhere near okay in the current market environment. The SV, in addition to, offers a considerably more sensible scope of around 212 m on one charge, making it a considerably more reasonable vehicle. The 2024 model of the Nissan Leaf is presented in similar two trims, as before S and SV+. The base S variation begins at $28,141 models, that beginning at under $30,000. This cost includes some significant pitfalls. However, since the S has a little 40 kWh battery pack and a restricted reach, the SV in addition begins at $36,900, yet it is a more common sense presenting since it has considerably more power. Furthermore, a higher driving range.